give like it's one thing about working with the immigrant, like challenging to work with government when it comes to like immigration policy, And then President Obama took office for 8 years. Then we have President Bush. Then we have immigration challenges starting to happen. We shut down all, we ban, we do a lot of crazy things, And then we create the trade war with China, which happened to be like 82% of the market to the United States. So we have over 1,000 lawsuits with the USCIS from the private sector, and then so many immigration policy that really created a lot of chaos. And then come to like 2021, we got the entire employment-based program shut down because we shortage voted from the Senate. So then 2022 August, we have President, Senate, and Congress bipartisan bill to push through the extension for the program. This is 5-year extension, very significant.
And how do they measure the success of the program to get an additional extension? Like, do you know, is there like defined criteria or?
This is a pilot program,
Yeah, so
and it's all by happenstance, by guess, and by golly. And if you've got the support in Congress and in the Senate, great. If you don't, you don't. It really isn't a standard program by any stretch of the imagination. And I also want to stress that we don't use this particular program for success to our particular project. This program is used mainly as mezzanine money to be able to pull money back out, repay some of the initial investors if we need to, and also to facilitate people coming to America and being able to use the EB-5 program. We want to make sure that each of our projects stand on their own and will operate on their own regardless of the EB-5 component, because EB-5 has been going like this. It's just unpredictable and unwieldy to be able to base your project on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So in terms of going forward, when we wanted to be part of a housing crisis, housing problem in the United States by invest into modular factory, because we believe a modular factory with technology and labor is the way that we can scale and help out the crisis at the moment the country is facing right now. And so we're very strongly supporting the program with multiple factories that will be building across the country. It's the way to work on the program. And that's the whole point of us, what we're doing with building military housing, senior housing, affordable housing, and then market rate housing. Whether it's going to be metal frame, whether wood frame, we have the answer for all, and we pull in the builder community together to work on it. So then the signal that we wanted to work with our local representative and lawmaker is the program is work. The job is created.
Yep.
We did about 6.5 billion annual, and out of 165,000 jobs created, without taxpayer, right? So let be clear, let be supportive, let be a builder, let build a community better, let open up the policy so that we can be competitive with Canada, a European Union on the Golden Visa program, and let open up for more opportunity to solving our problem with housing. We certainly can scale in terms of number of volume, units and square feet, and jobs that created as a result of that. So let's really get the in-plan economic model working for our community. Let's put politics and let's support the immigration policy for the right kind of immigration policy that will support the community. And that's the whole message about the Association of Investing in America. We want to tackle the problem. We help to tackle the problem. We know that we're facing a big challenge as a country. you know, and that would be we work with modular association representing all the modular build factory in United States. And at MERT, you know, and I talked to the leadership of our organization from modular organization, offsite build. You know, we are into an on-site build for the last 27 years. But we look at the offsite build, right? The offsite build is representing 6% of the total construction in United States, you know? And the on-site build, it represents 94% of total construction in the United States. My question for Tom, for all the leader from manufacturing factory build, we have big event, 3-day seminar at the Recon in Las Vegas, you know. We talk about it for 3 days straight with our on-site builder, right? And then we have a bus tour on June 5th in Burbank, California. We show Guardian and some of the factory that we're working with, right? You know, how to build a 340 unit meta yacht in 3.5 months in Burbank, right by the airport. We're gonna actually, I pay for the bus and the driver and the seminar to take about, you know, 400 investors actually see the hotel in operation, profitable as a result of the offsite build. So what can we do at the builder community, builder co-op, to really bring total 6% of total construction of the offsite build to 10% in 3 years? So what kind of effort we have to put together? So I would like to support in our organization. It would like to support in the offsite build factory, and then the continue pathway to ship construction supplies material from Asia to Vietnam. You know, I'm traveling with Governor Inslee on Sunday to Vietnam. State of Washington happened to be the surplus trade, and we just doing really good job in trade when it comes to like China, Asia, right? That other states should be modeling after. We just in terms of export to China, we sell massive to China, right? In terms of foreign direct investment, EB5, we capture the most dollar coming to the municipality, to community, compared to Boise, Idaho, Portland, Oregon, neighboring of Arizona and California. Nobody have attract more foreign direct investment fund like Washington State. And nobody do a better trade than Washington State. So what the lesson learned for our community in terms of looking at some of this project and get the money for it using FDI, foreign direct investment fund. And I do think that the offsite bill is challenging because nobody know about it. And why wouldn't, it's like EB5, right? Yeah. You asking us about all this question, we in the builder industry. And you know, some of us is American born, some of us are foreign born, immigrant. However, we here. But in terms of public education about FDI, foreign direct investment, why it is a program like a foreign direct investment fund that has been around since President Bush Sr. launching this program, that none of most Americans do not know about it.
Yeah, it's the first time, because after we spoke at the show, I was like, trying to research, trying to understand what this was.
Right, so my question is like, why? You got to be a education community that really stand up, that lead in the education effort to share with our fellow builder, in our industry about this, right? And so that's why ML University is signed up with the state of Washington to want to be an entity that help out to share, that allowing more capital flowing into our country, our community, our project, right? and understanding that we are 4% of the world population. So we have to have an open, we have to open our pocket to let other capital flow into our pocket, to build factory, to build home, and creating job. And so 6% of the upside bill in United States, and who is the organization entity that going out there and sharing about upside bill, the technology, the bill, the penalize, the smart home bill, the energy efficiency. How do we build it on site that more predictable, more profitable, and more duplicatable, and more efficient, and more saving on interest carry, and then better structure that we're building, and then there's so much benefit for but we 6%. After a decade in the upside industry, we 6%. And most of the modular factory owner would happen to be my friend, right? I know Gurdian, I know Rick from Otterville, I know that all of this is our friend, right? Because in real estate, my job is to go and talk to other owner and figure out what they do. You know how many percentage, in modular factory, the percentage that fell in the industry. You know what percentage of modular bill in US and Canada, the failing rate?
I do not know the rate.
Probably pretty high.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty high.
Yeah, it's
Very high.
4%.
Right. I can list all this modular bill. I said, when did they open, when they did file incorporate their business with the state, and when they close. When they have the grand opening, and when they close.
Why do you feel like they have, why have they not been successful?
Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked me that question, but that's also a big question. It requires a very long answer. You see offsite bill factory, the failing rate is very high. And then right now there's no money, capital for on-site bill. So that's the industry that we're in right now. We have to recognize that challenge, and let we solve it. And I see a lot of factory, training, labor, material, training in getting more inventory, getting work with labor, and then, customer developer acquisition. They have no strategy idea how to get more project, more client that gonna support their factory, and then they don't, and because they are the modular bill, they don't have any the public sector, who the one that control permit, scope, and compliance. They don't really support the factory because they don't know how to support the factory nationwide. They don't know how to permit a unit that built in the factory. And because they don't know and they don't have the money to invest into that sector. And how they're going to approve permitting for a unit so that it legally built in the neighborhood that connect to all the utility. You look at like small municipalities, they don't have the money to support in that program when it comes to like inspection, permitting, and all that. And then what about the state? State is going to be have more power over local municipality. The state don't do anything except state of Colorado, right? They're very proactive. State of Washington going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be looking at that. Why do we say state? Because they already have the mandates over the housing. They think that, like state of Washington, for example, they know that we in serious housing problem. We know that from the state, looking at all the local jurisdiction, you don't have the ability to process permitting, inspection, and working with builder. Why? So they have the state mandate law, like the ADU, attached ADU, the new law, get rid of single family home zoning in the state of Washington, that allow for multifamily, one lot, you can build 3 units, right? That allow for modular to build. That modular can really build multifamily better than just a single, right? So I mean, that's a lot of good thing happen, but I can list a lot of items. Builder capital. A regular builder, when I started real estate in 98, as a refugee came to the U.S., I worked with all the community bank. Instead of Washington, right here in the Pacific Northwest, we have 28 local bank. It's Frontier Bank, $4 billion, and Citibank of Linwood, $3 billion. First International Bank, $400 or $500 million, right? We got about 28 bank.
Just a quick second. This is Shane, our CEO.
Hi, Mr. Shane. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Hi, I'm
Hi,
Shane.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Hi. I apologize. My day got packed, and so I wanted to spend some time with you, but I'm just not going to be able to. So you're in great hands. I just want to welcome you. Please, we have lots of opportunities to be able to work together. So
I would
I
love
think
that.
so too.
Yeah, I would love to take a picture with the leadership,
Yeah.
why we here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're here to learn. We're not here to, we share the challenging. It is a challenging.
Yeah.
We're not, we just experience, we're feeling it every single day in our community.
Yep.
But we're not complaining. Put it that way.
I will tell you, you definitely share a passion because Shane's number one passion is to, eliminate this housing crisis that we have, right? Make housing more affordable. He's very passionate about that, and I know you said you want to be a part of the solution and not the problem, right? And
Yeah.
creating ways to build more.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right.
Yeah, I think that what we share about housing. 27 years in the industry, so we have a golden opportunity right now to tackle the challenge of the country facing right now. And we're in that position to do that with builder, with lender, with public sector. Then we can really doing that. I would take a lot of every case study project from FDI, Foreign Direct Investment Fund in Seattle, and then modern home, from permitting, design to build and trade, and then policy that really open up for builder for capital, construction material, and way that we can help builder with entitlement permitting and capital. So a typical example is 2008, the crisis of housing in 2008, 2007. State of Washington, for example. And this is in general, but same story with the nationwide. We have 28 community banks that loan money to builder to build. We know that Chase Bank, Bank of America, great bank, national bank, but they would never loan money to community builder to build a community housing project. That's not going to happen. I never see Chase Bank going out there, I'm going to loan you money to build a 3-unit townhome or a single-family home. That do not happen in the neighborhood. Community bank, instead of Washington, for example, FDIC shut down 24 community banks because of their book, because they violate the FDIC policy when it comes to funding, right? And that 24 out of 28 community banks never come back into 2024. Right? Never come back. None of those banks come back. So where is small builder in the community that on-site build? Not talk about off-site, that go and get the money to build home now. None.
Well,
So-
they want 45% equity.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is the real challenge, that say, where is the support from, where is the support from the public sector, where is the support from financial sector for builder, How many community bank right here in Boise, Idaho, in Seattle, Washington, they actually loan money to build home.
None, not much.
Not many.
Yeah.
So, and then at the same time, we have the trade war with China. Construction material quadruple. What is the answer for that? Do we have the alternative? Do we have alternative way for builder to get construction material? Door, window, siding, roofing, solar panel, battery, you name it, right? Where do we get it? We shut down the biggest market that's supplying us. And so what can we really do? And if I were to tackle a problem like, why are we shorted 6 million homes in the United States? We can give a very clear answer, The other day I say it's a joke, but like somebody came to me and say, oh, I'm so overweight, I'm like 300 pounds. I said, how did you get here?
there.
It's a joke,
It
right?
didn't happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of our, work student, we joke all the time when we're building home, right? I'm 300 pounds. How did you get here? Well, I get here because I eat 300 burritos yesterday. I said, really? So you eat 300 burritos, so you got 300 pound gain. How do we get to a 6 million home shortage in our market right now? And then every public sector, private sector, like, oh my God, we're 6 million home shortage. What can we do? No, we didn't get to 300 pounds overnight. We didn't get to like 6 million home shortage overnight. We got it here with a contribution of multiple factors, right? And unless we're willing to come together at a PPP, private-public partnership, to solve it. So I really challenge in public sector to step up and solve a problem. We're challenging private sector builder to step up and solve problem for your own company. And I challenge in, lending financial sector to step up and cooperate and work with builder, that build the community. I challenge any bank, top 1% bank of the United States, open your checkbook, write more check to build home in the community, because you don't. You get money from FDIC, you get money from Federal Reserve, and you keep it there. You don't give that money out to the builder so they can build. I walk into any bank right now, where's the builder program? So it's a national crisis problem that we have to solve it together. But I would like to use 62 different development projects that we done, 18 different foreign direct investment fund that we fund project as a case study, and really look at it together at a builder and say, yeah, we can do that. Let's really work together to get the program moving forward. Because we in a very challenging spot right now. Mm-hmm. We're looking at shopping center right now, nationwide, right here in this mall. We got a big anchor. It's not gonna be able to expand rent or lease, right?
Yeah, so convert that.
We convert that. We got a big sector office building in Seattle, downtown Bellevue, downtown Seattle, downtown Boise, that vacancy, that bank not willing to refinance, right? And we need to convert into residential.
Yeah.
But where the money to do that?
From outside.
Right.
So is your like business strategy to build full modules and ship them, or flat pack them and then put them together on site? Like, what is your, because with AutoWall, they obviously build the entire module and then they ship the modules out.
Right.
But a lot of folks are also looking at off-site construction, build the panels, flat pack them and ship them and then assemble them on site. So which way were you leaning, or have you given that some thought?
I think that we wanted to be a partner, an entity that support the builder offsite, which is build a panel, build the entire modular, and then ship it to the site. Why we right? Why we go up with landowner like shopping center or public land, or land that we purchase acquired through our fund, and then put in the pre-development fund that pay for the acquisition, entitlement, design, utility connection, and also podium bill. And then from the factory, it's gonna be panel bill, metal panel bill, or wood panel bill, and then assembly the whole box or module, and then ship it to the site. And that's how but we don't want to be we want it to be an investor entity into the modular factory that we work with builder.
Got it. Okay.
Right. That's how we see
We have
ourselves.
one factory supporting 4 different builders.
We are the builder co-op. We're supporting multiple builder that build, because we now into the situation. For example, at the shopping center owner at the ICSC Recon, the number one the real estate development commercial in the country, right, in the world. We have our owner have 40 different shopping center, for example, and all of his regional all of his shopping center in California, it really overbuilt, it redundant, and they need to refinance, and his anchor retailer are moving out. So how do we look at an existing deal structure like that and really redoing it, right? In what I call recycle the money, recycle the land, however you call it, and make it into something better. And that's where the offsite construction build modular coming in, that we can really converting this existing property which already utility connected and permitted, and the demographic, and then also that really support by the market study to make it a good location to live, work, and play. Then this is when modular build offsite coming in, that can provide in the unit, 82% built inside the modular factory, then send it to the site where it's already short plat, subdivide, permit, and connect all the utility and already the podium that built. So this is the cooperation between the builder co-op from on-site and off-site to make the deals happen. So I was in Las Vegas talking to another $1 billion group that do affordable housing in Las Vegas, right? I mean, the property is the property is 2.5 miles from the strip, closer to South Casino. We have 22,000 homes, affordable, right? But so the owner is ready to really put this project going forward. The public is already approved with the 45% affordable housing, then we can go forward with the property. So those kind of deals that we wanted to support. But if you're going to be able to do that much volume and square feet of the offsite, then it really makes sense to have a modular factory built very closer to the production of the market, to avoid pay too much money for shipping, right? Yeah. So that's that intent for us to do. It's a big picture, but we have this investor support, like this conversation, this meeting that we have today. We're going to be sharing with our Singapore and Taiwanese investor lending in Vietnam. We're going to share them the story. It's like, if lending money to our project, to our builder,
Now, what is your timeline? So you go have this meeting next month, and what does that look like, your process from a timeline standpoint?
The process for the timeline standpoint, like a group that we work in Hong Kong, It would be like in 90 days that we can see those financing entity that are going to be able to make a move into our fund. That channel through
That's
a
fairly
loan.
quick.
I'm sorry?
That's fairly quick.
It should be very quick. And the reason I say that is I'm come from Vietnam and I live in China and I've been doing business in China for the last 20 plus years. And my last name Chinese and I'm Vietnamese. So I know, understanding, communicate with the people that build an investor on the ground very, very well. Understand the culture different and way. But I look at how much money community development fund in China that be able to attract in a lot of US dollar real estate investment trust that go into China in the 47 years before the shutdown trade war, right? I mean, it's quick. I mean, Blackstone fund, Berkshire Hathaway fund that go into the community that deploy the fund to work very quick. And then I watch, so then we build China economy, second world economy behind the US. It's only one sector only, and the one sector only that driven that economy. It's residential real estate, on-site and off-site. But their off-site bill is in high volume, not like United States, because they'll be able to build and their entitlement permitting much faster, you know, but they have access to capital, you know, so that's why you see market Xiamen, Shanghai, Beijing. You look at the number of units, the number of square feet that built, it's very significant, you know. And then you look at Vietnam. Vietnam right now is a powerful country, you know, after the war. And you look at the amount of resident, the way for Vietnam to grow so fast, its residential bill become the major factor. And, you know, 85% of the people in that country, it happen to be the investor and buying and own and sell a lot of these units. So the flow in the residential bill, permitting, sell, it go and ownership and all that growing really fast, right? So look at Vietnam and China. So I look at a lot of this money coming from Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. That really, the money that behind a lot, and US money, right? So I look at it and say, if we look at the United States right now with our community development fund for builder, how fast can we get a financial investor from abroad, from overseas, to channel the fund to our own fund so that we can fund in the builder, which we already have the builder is on the ground with project, it's ready to go, or in permitting to get into the factory and build, you know. So we think that we can really scale this much faster when it comes to the investor funding. That we talking to the same people that put money in China, building, right? We talking to the people that put billions of dollars in Vietnam when it comes to residential construction funding. We're going to have the same conversation with some Asian investor group and say, what can we do to act? What with the builder co-op system we have in place with the financing, project, factory, and the demand in the market? How fast can we do lending to builder in the United States? You know? And so I do think that we can, if we were to work together, I do think that we can see that flowing. You know, because after all, they see the Chinese buy in the US before the trade war, 120 billion annually. And Vietnamese buy in the US, $10 billion annually. So what can we do, right? And of course, India investment in the US through the EB-5 employment-based program is also very, very significant. So people have the knowledge, advertise for owning and investing in the US. It's a good way to go. But you know, I travel China right now because of the trade war. We don't have no US company. US company is supposed to move out of China. and no U.S. company in China right now, right? And just me. Sometimes I look and say, kind of lonely. Okay, back then I got Blackstone, I black the entire U.S. Hey, nobody in China do business the last 47 years except American. But now we go in there, go back there, and nobody there, right? So I do think with the effort that we are doing, we certainly can open funding. We definitely can open funding, but when it comes to funding, then funding specialize in getting the green card citizenship, and funding is for regular funding. You know, we have to find a way to get the funding that flowing to a project.
I'd like to
yeah.
jump in for just a second. I'd like to circle back to your question earlier about why did all these modular factories fail? And one of the main reasons that I think happened was they didn't have sales. They didn't have production in the future. They had enough now, but then they got up and running, and then, oh my gosh, now what do I build?
You put the cart before the horse kind of thing.
Well, everybody hopes that when you build something, you build it, they will come.
They'll come, yeah.
You know,
You've seen that movie?
yeah, we've all seen that movie. But the difference here with Michael is Michael's been in the business for 25, 28 years. And he has built the real estate part, and then he built the builder's co-op part. And what's different is he's gonna bring 100, maybe 200 builders to the table, and they're all gonna go, oh, we can do modular. Oh, we'll do modular
Simplify
with
the
this
whole
fact.
process, yeah.
Oh, we have the finances, or we have the bank resources
Finance.
working together so that all the pieces are coming. We've got some toilets and doors and doorknobs and windows coming from Asia to support the factory to make the modules cheaper so that the whole thing works and helps to solve that housing crisis of 6 million homes. So-
Yeah, the issue right now is for the funding, right? The factory is failing. Number one, builder is not business people. Builder is build, and builder do not know how to marketing, promoting, fundraising, building relationship with investor, getting more project into the pipeline. I know so many factories. Then when I asking about the question about building a company, first of all, you have to do focusing on customer acquisition. You know, by getting more revenue project, doing actively and spending 70% of your time to do business development. And then builder. When most of the companies just look at me like the car watching the train. And I think, how? Because you build a factory, you have the equipment, you make payment on, you got worker, you got HR, you got audit, operating
Right.
expense.
And they're open for business, but there's no business.
There's no business. And you say like, well, you know, when you look at the problem that all the builder factory have, they just don't have that division that doing the business development, recruiting, sell, getting the inflowing of the project coming in, fundraising and all that, right? And then they build a big equipment, big facility, you know, and big carry costs, and all of it. And then how do you offset the expense and income? And then, but when it comes to that, it naturally for me, like I come from Vietnam, I'm very poor, and you know we come here, and we know that in order to build a good business, you have to spend 75% of your time on customer acquisition, right? And then all that work that related to it. So the pipeline is not there for the factory to build, and all the factories failing. They failing because they don't know how to build. They failing because they don't know how to operate in the company. They failing because lack of income, lack of sale. you know, and with the capital environment right now, that will be experience more challenging. So
Yeah.
you got big factory, you know, in the good market, they're, you know, 3-4 years out in terms of production. Now they're, you know, you have half year of a production,
Yeah.
you know, and that much more challenging. So you don't have customer come to you, then you owe, and ultimately you become your own customer, right? And become your own investor, become your own customer. You go out there creating project, fundraising, and then bring that work to your factory
Yeah. Makes sense.
on a JV. But it been a lot of people lack in that education and know how to do it, and that's why we created the system of education that's sharing that idea. And I can bring it in like, you know, a fund like EB5 fund before, there's $1.3 billion funding coming from FDI. That could be one way of creating your own, you know, become your own customer, become your own project, you know. And however you do it, but you gotta put in the time, resource, effort to do it. Don't expecting that you open a factory and you create all this expense and labor, right? And expecting the business is gonna fall into your lap. That doesn't happen that way. So there got to be the education cooperation between the builder co-op, you know, to make that happen. And I can get other reason too, but as we supporting the factory bill, we invest into the factory bill, that will be benefit for our end user when it comes to home ownership and U.S. citizenship, American dream. We wanted to build great company. The company that actually going to be built, create housing and creating jobs. Otherwise, USCIS is going to come down on us and FCC and say, you take the money from the foreign, from the investor. And we don't see the production. We watching you don't producing no housing and job, right? The buck stop there. We responsible, right? And what do we answer to USCIS? We see on top of us. We regional center underneath it, right? And we authorize your entity to do this community development promotion project, housing and job creation. How do you do? How do you do? What do we answer? We depending on the factory. The factory have to operate, build, and creating job, and modular have to build and ship, and housing have to be created.
Yeah.
And then, you know, our entity from JCE Finance can report back to the USCIS. We do not want to be in a failed situation that our program will get backfired by U.S. government.
Yeah.
Because we are not doing it, so that we doing it for our own, you know, interests, but also for our builder community interest as well,
Yeah.
right? So that we can, the goal here is to 10x the funding. The goal here is 10x the production of the upside.
Yeah.
So we 6% right now, can we go to 6% upside to 10% in 3 years? So what is strategy behind that?
Yeah.
So we here, we're pushing that, and that can be a lot more case study coming along the way.
Yeah.
You know, there will be another 62 case already proven, right? 18 funds already proven, right? We see ourselves another 100 more that we can prove that it worked. Then we can go back to the public sector. We say, look, it worked. You know, FDI, Foreign Direct Investment Fund, it worked. It worked in community. It creating job. It creating housing, right?
Well, the reason I was asking you about the timeline is obviously going to go see the Audubon facility, and if that is similar to what you have in mind for your first factory, it takes a little while to set up that factory, right? So
Yeah,
you
share
may
with
have
us
this-
about
you got
that.
the shopping mall and you have the space, but we, you know, if we were fortunate enough to partner together, then you still need the equipment. Our equipment takes probably 18 months. So do you have a plan for the period? Like, do you plan to build manually until your factory is fully automated, or just something for you to consider? I don't expect you to have the answer today, but because those are the type of lead times you're working with. So while you may have the funding in 90 days, that's great. That helps us get started, but you're not going to have a fully automated factory that quickly. This is something to think about. Maybe you already have thought about it.
Yeah, we thought about it. They see, because we've been in the industry too long. We've been so prepared at this one. We're not a newbie in the industry.
Right.
And so we utilize our on-site bill to
Yeah, the
moving
system.
our unit forward.
Yeah.
12,000 units a year. That is the mandate from our business plan. On-site bill will continue. We go with on-site bill strong.
Until you're ready to do it.
Yeah, off-site bill will continue. We acquiring more. We're allowing much more funding coming into our system and bill.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the transition of what we're building.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's how we wanted to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we say that the production of land acquisition entitlement is there. Of the 18 plus year of relationship that we build with ICIC owner, that portfolio nationwide that we are able to JV, make it happen with the private sector or the public sector to be able to acquire more land and entitlement, while we're working with the public sector to get it permitted, entitled, comply with the code and bill. And then, you know, our private sector, foreign direct investor, keep putting more investment funding in, and they do it for a reason.
Yeah.
They doing it, well, let me tell you why all the money go to Vietnam. They're meeting us in Vietnam. Because nobody can go into China and put another dollar in China when it comes to money investment in China. Whether from Europe, whether it's from Hong Kong, if Singapore funding, Japan or US, we can say that, you know, that money stopped going to China.
Yeah.
So then the next question for us, like, can we drive that money to America? You know, we see America right now is big time support manufacturing, housing, and job creation right here. You know, and the return on investment better. By the way, the modular home that built in the factory, if you build in China, you own that in China. You never have title because state is own the title. State own the land.
Oh, that's right.
You own that in Vietnam versus you own that right here in Boise, Idaho. You own the title.
Yeah, I didn't know that about China.
Yeah.
Yeah, state own. Nobody allowed to own land in communist country, right?
Yep.
Like China and Vietnam. So that alone, how that benefit for the investor.
Yeah.
So I think the motivation from the investor, the type of the funding that poured into offsite bill factory, it's significant number.
Yeah.
We're expecting $5 billion investment that's going to go in because it's simply within the climate of the USAsia, that capital that looking for a home to go. And we got to make a system that allow for the capital to go in,
Yeah.
you know, and go right to America where it started. The same way that we poured in a lot of money into China since President Nixon entered the deal with Mao Zedong back in the 50s, right? Then from there we poured in $1 trillion into China. So how do we make that story revert back to America?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't mean to interrupt. It's been great conversation. We had a few things that we want to share with you, but we also want to give you a tour in the back, but Chad has to step out for a meeting.
Yep.
So I just want to ask, you know, in terms of what you were hoping to accomplish today, was there anything specific? Because we can do a whole lot of things that we're prepared for, but what was specifically that you wanted to gain out of your time today? That way I don't know if you free up and then come back later, but he's got to step out for a quick meeting. So what were you hoping to gain from today?
Yeah, what we want to gain from today, want to see the how do we assemble a factory with the way that that production, you know, some are using the technology that can, you know, what a factory would look like if we were to build it your way,
Okay.
you know, and see that in operation.
Yeah, we won't see that until tomorrow,
Yeah.
until,
When they go to Audible today.
Audible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
later today. So just again to set proper expectations. So you're going to see the whole modular factory, everything that you want to see from a panelized standpoint at Audible. That's going to be like your best
yeah.
introduction to it. What we have here is a standard roof line for, it's offsite construction, but it's a typical roof line, not for a modular factory. So we're happy to take it back there and show you what you need to see there, but I don't know how much value you'll get from that.
Yeah.
What we can do is Brandon, so Chad and Brandon have both been involved with AutoWell since day one. So they know everything that there's no, I only know enough to be dangerous. So we're gonna let Chad go ahead and go to his meeting, but Brandon is the guy with all the factory designs, and we can talk you through what that might look like.
Yep.
And that'll be a good introduction, so that when you go to Audible, you know what to look for, what type of questions to ask, and everything, so that your tour would be more meaningful there. Does that work?
Yeah, I think that, you know, we've got a building, and we don't know what to do with it,
This is the guy.
okay?
He
So we're
is
trying
a
to
whiz. He
decide-
can lay it all out
There,
for you.
there are a lot of decisions on, do we bring modules from China, from Vietnam? Do we just use it as a distribution point? Do we build it as a factory that builds modules? Do we just build panels? And I don't know that we have those answers
Okay.
today.
And I
But
think
we're
those are
here to kind of
conversations also
research.
we would probably, you know, as we progress, we would probably loop Shane in as well, because he's really good from the strategy standpoint and helping you think through different options. He's got some ideas as well, so we could loop Shane back in.
Well, you know, Greg, I appreciated you, you know, participate,
Of course.
Yeah.
you know, in our conversation today.
Yeah,
I think that we get the nature of what we do. Yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah.
We are very clear about what we need to do with funding, with support and build a factory, with modernize the factory, with to the production that we want, right? And then using that model to duplicate in that, supporting that
Make it a
in
repeatable
multiple
process, yeah.
locations across the country, and using the FDI funding, and then, you know, the employment-based category number 5 funding to fund in the factory and support the builder in that effort. You know, and that's who we are. That's what we try to do. But the building that we own, that we have under our regional center, it's 300,000 square feet,
Yeah, you mentioned
34 acre. So what can we do to really make this into a modern modular factory?
Factory, yeah. You
Right,
definitely
and
have
that's what
space
we
for
that's
it.
what we learn.
Yeah.
That's what we want here to want to learn from you.
Yep.
And listen to you about your advice before we went in all this about housing issue that we have. So no more of that. So let's really go to the point and
Yep.
yeah, do that.
Okay.
Perfect. So I'm
So
gonna
you go ahead and go.
Yep.
If y'all need to take a break, and then I was gonna see, like, would you like for us to order lunch? I don't know if you had made plans for lunch. We could have some
Thank you.
sandwiches brought in.
We Greg, thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have each other a business card where we go, Greg?
Bring your business cards, Chad, when you get a second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
would you
no,
like
I
us to
think
bring
that-
lunch in, or did you already have plans?
We have a plan.
Okay, you do have
Yeah,
plans, okay.
yeah.
All right.
But
so-
we dive into the technical of the factory build. We wanted to learn from you in terms of,
Yeah, and Brandon.
we wanted to do it, but we don't have the experience idea. Because
Yeah.
we coming from on-site construction,
Yeah, no.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So I mean, factories, they can look a lot of different ways, right? So a lot of what I do is make our equipment fit within a space, right? So it's kind of a chicken and the egg problem. Like if you had a green field, then, you know, it makes everything easy. But you said you have a building,
They
So
got a
three-
shopping center.
a shopping center.
So is it Yardbirds?
300,000 square feet, 55 feet high, so it accommodates factory modular well.
Yeah.
It's accessible to I-5, also railroad. It
Oh,
have
perfect.
2 entry from major streets. So we think, and we sat down with the city manager that they would roll red carpet to support us,
Oh.
and that's the reason why we wanted to move RINET to the next step and how to build this model out,
Okay.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Totally. So yeah, so the concept's all the same. Like I say, it can change depending on what you're building. So this layout here will accommodate 72-foot modules, 10-foot high by 16-foot wide.
Right.
This is ultimately the same equipment that you'll see at Autovol tomorrow. It's just going to be laid out a little bit different, and this is a little more compact than what they have over there. This example here is 600 feet by 350 feet, and that's
Right.
all.
You may want to put this one on.
You put it on?
Yeah, I share some of it to our financial investor in Vietnam,
Gotcha, okay.
Singapore, about factory, how that can be built. Yeah.
Okay. So 350 by 600 feet, which I think is about 200,000 square feet is this example here. So what we'll kind of do is just start from the front here and work our way back. So these would just be, we like the Hundegger saw. You'll see that at Autovol as well, that they utilize the Hundegger saws. They can drill, cut, do all the things we need it to do, and they do it very well. But ultimately, you could use any kind of saw manufacturer that you wanted to use, right? And then for, if you were to build, if your designs need floor trusses, which at Autovol you'll see that as well, we have a machine that'll build the floor trusses, right? And that's what this is shown here. So this is divided into two lines. So this bottom one would be your walls. The top would be your floors and ceilings.
Right.
And if we zoom in here, so this area here is for doing door openings and window openings. And then they are passed onto the frame, the main element is what we call it, but it's the main framing station here. And then your walls are extruded out depending on, whatever your design is. Like I say, this is for up to 72-foot walls. If you were never to build that length, then I wouldn't recommend using that space for it, because it's just wasted space. Some parts of the world, they can only build X amount of feet long, right? But here in the States, we like everything big, so that's how we build everything. And then, so it gets passed through. We have some buffer area here. At Autovol, they utilize this space for inspections. So say, the nail gun missed a nail gun for whatever reason, or missed firing a nail. Different things you can check, right? Squareness, all those kind of things. It's usually pretty robust, so they usually don't find much. But there is special blocking or special cases that we can't accommodate with the automation. They would take care of that there as well. And then it moves into the sheathing station. So this sheathing station is different that's shown here than what you'll see at Autovol. It's just a different approach, much more cost-effective way of doing it. The other method over there works great, just very expensive, and it does a lot of things that most people don't necessarily need.
We learned a lot from building that factory, so all the lessons learned we're putting into our new way.
Yeah, so the way that one works over there is, you index a wall in, and there's gluers that glue, and then it indexes to the next spot, and then they lay the sheets down. The next spot, they fasten. And then it's got 2 layers of that. And then it indexes to the next where they route. And then it indexes through, right?
And our new investor builder can benefit from the experience that you've done the other factory.
Yeah.
And then
Not
that's
the
so
guinea pig
great.
anymore,
Yeah, and it works well, right? They get 4 to 5 modules a day out of there every day. So
Right.
it's pretty
Mhm.
crazy.
Just one shift.
One
Why
When you
shift.
say
They just
index, what do you mean?
So meaning that it goes from this point to this point. So we index 4 foot. So meaning that if the start of the wall was here, we would glue, and then we would index 4 foot, and then it would glue the next 4 feet. Does that make sense? And while this robot's gluing, the next robot is laying the sheet down on that 4 feet. And then we index the whole thing another 4 feet, and then the next set of robots works on it. Whereas this one's a little different, and the biggest difference is going to be cost, because the other one has you'll see a lot of blue metal over there, which is expensive. So, and more
four
robots.
modular a day, one ship. You imagine if we can do 2 ship a day.
They're doing a 10-hour shift, and they're pumping out anywhere between 4 and 5 per shift.
Yeah.
Productive,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
productive.
But the equipment doesn't do anything the rest of the time, it's just sitting.
Right.
Needs to
Right?
be-
It
needs to
feels
be
like, oh
working.
my
Yeah.
God, you should be working, it's,
Yeah.
pay for it.
Well,
It
and
needs to be machines need to be operating virtually 24 hours, other than the maintenance required.
Yeah, totally.
Maximize your investment.
Yeah.
Totally.
So with Earth Modern Living modular, what do we learn to be more efficient,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do more with less.
Do
Yep.
more with less.
Yep. Which is ultimately why we've come up with this design. So less robots, less metal, but it ultimately does the same thing. We utilize fewer robots on tracks.
Right.
And as you can see, there's multiple tools here. So you would just use that robot and it would change the tools. The biggest difference between this setup and the other is we only recommend doing 1 layer of sheets, whereas on the other one you do 2.
Right.
So the difference is you can do 2 layers with that one all at once.
Right.
Whereas this, it doesn't quite double your cycle time, but it increases your cycle time significantly because it's stopped and you have to do the same process twice.
Right.
So totally doable, but it just understanding that. And then it goes out and it gets stood up here, and then we have some overhead cranes that would stand it up on your MEP racks here, right? So your
Right.
Mechanical, electrical, more of the manual kind of operations, right? And then once all of those are done, they get moved over to this area, and then again we utilize an overhead crane, and they start, setting the floor, walls, etc. Same thing with the floors and ceilings, fundamentally the same. It's just much bigger robots and larger equipment because we're dealing with larger boards, right, and trusses and things that are heavier.
Right.
So we utilize, you'll see over there, this 8700 robot. This is the biggest robot that ADB makes.
Right.
And that's so that we can pick up these very heavy, large sub-elements,
Right.
which we, for floors is like, it's more for their like MEP access. So they vertically have, their pipes and wires and like all those kind of things, right? So
Right.
that's what they utilize their openings for, or even like staircases and things like that. And then goes along and same thing. So sheathing area, we can do tongue and groove, OSB, sheetrock, dense glass, various different materials, plywood,
Right.
that we can utilize for both of these stations. So then same thing, comes over here, gets stood up, the crane puts it in these vertical racks, and all the folks work on, whether it's insulating, and pipe, plumbing, electrical, all those kind of things.
Kitchen cabinets,
Yeah, so that would come.
door,
Yep.
floor, and
And that would come later. So
okay.
all of these 2 rows over here,
Right.
yeah, these different stations, or each box represents a different station, right? So
Right.
could be, they have tape and mud, and then painting, and then your trim, and then
Okay.
carpet, and that's the why we have the length of this.
Right.
On
And,
each
and
side.
we talking about, we here talking about modern living, modular factory build in multiple location, and investor gonna be loaning about this is the 4 or 5 modular a day out of one ship, 10 hour, and this facility is about 400,000 square feet.
The Audubon is.
That's what Audubon is,
One
yeah.
of the things you want to take into consideration when you're, continuing to build your factories is the storage space, right?
Right.
So if you're building, like your site is not ready to accept
Right.
modules because
Right.
of delays or whatever,
Right.
you have to have a way to store them.
Right, and probably we our factory right now it exists in 300,000 square feet, 55 feet high accessible from both sides. And we have the underground utility infrastructure and permitting that allow for us to have an additional of 300,000 more square feet adding on top of that. So we could potentially have 3 buildings up to, we could have 3 buildings up to 1.2 million square feet
Okay.
there that we can build in on top of 34-acre land
Yeah.
that we have there.
Wow.
Yeah, and you'll see it out of all.
Yeah.
They've run out of space. They've had rented space all over the valley.
Right.
And wherever they can find an empty lot, they are storing modular
Right.
units.
Yeah, so for us to build the modern living mega modular factory, we have to have the enough support from infrastructure, utility, and land, and mass public transportation like I-5 and then railroad, and ship from port of Vancouver, port of Tacoma, port of Seattle, that be able to accommodate shipping the product out, intake the construction material, and be much more accessible in the Pacific and Western Washington, where that location would be. So based on what you shared with me today here, it is this facility, we certainly can build our modern living modular factory. We call them a mega modular factory. That would be a main factory that's supporting a lot of sub-factory nationwide. When we do a builder co-op, working together this way.
Yep.
Yeah, so what we see is the one sample, but will be like quadruple of the square feet for facility in building in phases.
Yep.
And our FDI foreign investor is being educated about the process that we going through all these phases, building them out. Yeah.
And so, depending on when you have a layout of your building, like if you provide us with drawings, and then we understand what is the output you would like to have, and we can work backwards and say, okay, based on that, this is the equipment that you recommend, this is what will fit in the building, this is how the most efficient way of laying it out, and we can help you with that.
Right.
Yeah, I would do a very similar layout to this, 3D, and then I can export it in 2D and any kind of presentation form that you need. So,
Yeah, we're pretty sure. We hear from you, your advice to our investor about the process of building this. And we wanted to take this information and really look at how we're gonna build our, yeah.
okay.
What questions do you have that someone might be sharing?
The work by the labor plus the robotic, on site.
So how many folks it
Right,
take to
right.
operate? Yeah, so
Operating this,
Yeah.
if we say we going through a cabinet division, we going through electrical division, we're going through a sheetrock division, we going through
Yeah.
how do you see that the labor can work, in the factory like this?
Yeah, so we can definitely comment on the labor you will need on the HOD automation equipment.
Right.
I don't know that we have all the answers for the rest of the processes. Do we, like
no, not necessarily. It kind of varies greatly depending on where you're at, and like a lot of places utilize local contractors, and I mean there's a lot of variation there. When we get a little more detail on what you're building and things like that, we could probably provide a little better estimate. I don't know. You said you know Rick really well. Rick probably has some
really good
full
data.
of all kinds of information when it comes to all this kind of stuff. He might have a better idea specifically for all the trades for that. As far as the automation goes, for this whole wall line, you would need 1, 2, 3, like 4 to 5 people just to operate this line here. So multiply that by 2, so it's about the same. So call it 10. 2 people to saw, and 2. So
Right.
say 14 to 15 people just to operate the automation to the MEP station.
Which compared with no robotic, no automation, like a regular factory like Gurdon, for example, we're looking at the same square feet, we see, and then be able to do 4 to 6 modular a day. Then we're looking at about 170,
Yeah.
180 people
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a huge reduction rate.
introduction.
And
Yeah.
especially if you go put in rural areas, it's going to be hard for you to find
Right,
people.
right.
So,
And then, so those are our partner. We and this, Tommy, the CEO, and previous CEO is really a good friend of ours. You know, we do a bus tour together, showcase our Medias and Wyndham in Burbank on June 5th with Modular Build Institute, right? But that would be good learning
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like non-technology, non-robotic,
Yep.
right? And you know, urban factory. We talking about modern living factory in a rural area that be able to keep that utilize the technology, understanding that you know human and more labor. We want to do like with less labor with more technology.
The robots show up to work every single day. They don't take smoke breaks or lunch breaks.
They're not drama, right? That please go on. What we I think I think all of us from investing community here very appreciate that you show us how this factory can be built.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We will hold your hand the whole way. Like, we will help with the design, the layout, consideration, all of that.
Yeah, and a lot of us do not know about offsite. A lot of us do not know about even EB5 investment. You know, having a technical support
Yeah.
like you, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
And we're
we,
neighbors, right? That's the other thing. We're so close by in terms of the support.
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we can get down to even material flow, forklift flow, you know, all those kind of things. Like we get very specific on all those kind of things.
Right. Mhm. Right. And based on all the equipment for the factory, including Robert, and you be able to support and helping to get a lot of this equipment that needed to the factory, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we also will have a resident engineer, or I don't know for the scale how many.
Well, you have a couple of them.
Yeah, we would have a couple of resident engineers on site with
Nice.
you for, 90 days, making sure that everybody is.
Just doing training and making sure all the equipment's running the way it should and all those kind of things initially. But we also have, maintenance contracts. We have a maintenance contract with Autovol. Like, we make sure the equipment's running. We do, continuous improvement, training, kind of whatever they need. We're here for them and support them that way. And what's great with all this equipment too is we can remote into it if we need to, as with all of our products.
Right.
We've got 24/7 support here. Call them up if there's a problem. They can get the right engineer. They can get logged in and they can see what the problem is and walk those people on the ground through whatever the problem is. Or if we need to get on a plane, like we can do that too, right? So we have all those avenues to make sure you guys are supported.
And the benefit, you are the neighbor of us with state of Washington.
Yeah,
state
it's
of
very
Idaho.
close. There's lots of flights
So we
back
can
and
help
forth,
from
so-
technical support
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, as part of because you subscribe to the software, as we continue to make improvements,
Right.
we will be passing those updates to your technology. So that's all part of the partnership.
Right.
You'll continue to benefit from more factories that we sell and more we learn. All our clients benefit.
Right. Mhm. That will be great for our member in the community, in the company to know that.
Yep.
Yeah, that is in news. This is very new concept for the very old industry.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What other questions?
So we can look at the 400,000 square feet, 4 or 5 modular deal a day, a ship in terms of production, right? Yeah.
Double that.
Mhm. If we were to looking at a potential, and we run this concept through multiple owner developer in the past about second shift, like Ken and David from modular, assembler of modular, and a lot of. We wanted to look at like two ship factory, and what we do,
Yeah,
right? So that's gonna be 2x the production,
yeah.
but how to do that?
Yeah, you just got to have a place to put all the boxes.
We have place to put all the box, John post and receipt,
Yeah,
and we got all the land right now, 34 acre actually,
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
that we
What
can
is
really
this, yeah?
triple the size of this. And then if we were to look at the second shift, that will be a potential, would make it one of the modern factory in terms of production.
But also with you selling to multiple builders, your risk is spread out, right? Here, they're basically constructing for their own consumption. So when there's a delay, it's like direct, but now you have multiple builders, it's like a cyclical. You can just always have somebody who's,
Well, if somebody falls out, somebody pulls.
Yep.
Oh, cool, I can get it sooner.
yep,
You know.
exactly. So your risk is spread out considerably.
That's, plus we're developers. We've got many projects that are sitting in his back pocket that he hasn't been able to do. Economics didn't work. But with this,
Right now.
they will work again.
Yeah, I think the conversation with Master Builder Association of Western Washington, King, Sonoma County, Peace County, and the conversation we have with the National Builder Association at the national level, we do think that, yeah, this is the way that we can help out with other projects that we pull them into the co-op pipeline and supporting on the financing side. Because it build that through a regional center approval, DEA, that can create new financing
Yeah.
to support, not just bring in a new project, but bring in new financing to
Right.
support the project.
Right.
And then the investor that invest in that fund, they benefit not just the investment into the entity that building the unit in square feet in a home, and the green card U.S. citizenship. So the incentive for people to get involved in this, not just new project. We have 2,000 units under control right now that we like to put into production. But our goal is to really building a mega factory where we at right now that can accommodate 12,000 units, a year. And when I say 12,000 units a year, how many people in America are doing that? Well, they are holding 110 units a year on site, right? And then I have my friend that been work together, Lenore doing 68,000 units a year on site. And then I have Richmond, America, down in Phoenix, they're doing 45,000 units a year. And I ask myself, no wonder they're representing 94%, 74%, and we, the outside representing, representing 6%.
Yeah,
And we want to shift from 6% of total construction upside to get into it, become 10%, double digit in 3 years. And then the way that we do that is we got to build a modern living mega factory in terms of production. But then you got bigger production, you got bigger expand, you got bigger holding cost, bigger staff, bigger everything. But then the financial model right now with the current modular traditional factory wouldn't work. So we cannot expand. So if we spend the time with you to share with you why our program would be would work for a mega factory with a builder co-op, it will work because for what we just said with you, you know, and versus a traditional factory. And so this is a new concept that we willing to go through and bring in all the co-op in our community that can make it work. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, before that, like, you know, if you know, a lot of companies, in order for you to go, you know, public trade company, you got to go to, you know, producing income and production, and you got to go through a period. This is what we go into to prove the production can work and the job can be created. And the program, it work for America and work with the public partner and get all the party involved. Yeah.
Totally.
So you know that, and that's the reason why we make a commitment with the regional center program. We make a commitment into acquisition of the side that we do, and we must make a commitment into like 10x offsite construction. And this is the conversation where we starting with technology, because we know the technology it performs better than
Yep.
regular human, you know, and we can incorporate both. Yeah. So yeah, when we say that we go 10x in production of offsite, we got a strategy behind to support it.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of our investors, you know, if they're gonna hear from you, sharing idea about how to assemble and build an efficient, productive factory, and this is what our conversation is.
Yeah.
Because it's not a regular traditional factory. It's a modern living modular factory. You know, that's where we using all the new idea and technology
Yep.
to create one. Yeah, and then, you know, investor, lender, they should be very confident that partner with us. That's the whole point we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then when they partner with us, whether they offshore, they get a great benefit.
Yeah, the whole family.
The whole family, the whole company,
Yeah.
the CEO, the COO, the HR, everybody that involved in the fund, they have green card, U.S. citizenship,
Yeah.
by partner with us in investment.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. Versus you do work with Microsoft, Amazon, which is our neighbor in Seattle, which are great. But the benefit to working with Amazon and Microsoft is you got H-1B visa.
Yep.
And
And
You
it
got a
takes
big
another
size
5
11.
years after that. I went through all of that, so I know.
You
right,
have a big size 11 on your neck. Oh my gosh, am I gonna lose my job?
yeah.
And they
So
hold that over your head.
Yeah.
including
I'm
Tamra.
sorry, I just get, that just really just,
Yeah, I went through the
Bothers
whole H-1B visa. I came on a student visa, then got
Right.
H-1B, then I got a green card, and now I have a citizenship. But yeah, it's
Good
a
for
long
you.
process, yeah.
Yeah,
you can convert the H-1B to an EB-5 like that
Oh, really?
with just the investment.
no, that's a new law that the
Just happened.
Senate and Congress and President passed in August of 2022, allowing H-1B visa to it concurrent filing.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get into American dream citizenship by partner with us, whether it's your corporate or individual. And versus like the rest of the corporate do not have that option. So if you into like a co-GP with us on funding, you know that green card and U.S. citizenship is within 3 to 10 months from obtaining it.
That's crazy. I applied for my mom's green card 2 years ago, and we're still waiting.
Well, and the other thing is, with an H-1B, your spouse can't work.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, I mean,
single, so I didn't know
if you
that.
come over, you
So
know,
then
and
they're
you
just
bring your
dependent
spouse,
with
she's
no
just a
income.
dependent, or
Yeah.
he's just a dependent.
Yeah.
But with this, it's the whole family.
And you know
It's like-
the international student with UW, University of Washington, for example, or Washington State University, with right here in Pullman, not that far from Boise. The total international student is 32% And international student would have no resident status, pay 300% more on tuition. And there's no guarantee that their degree they can use, and they can use what they learn in university and apply into what their job is in United States. Because if you don't have residency right after the school, then the only option for you is to go back home, right? And if you gain all the modern education in United States, like UW or Washington or Boise University, and you going back home to Asia, to elsewhere where you're coming from, that's not really
It's
the
a
way
lot
you
of
do
brain
it,
drain.
right?
Yeah.
So our program with the modular factory build, mega modern factory build concept housing is the answer for that. And so therefore, I'm pretty sure that if we were to work in on the technical side, on the financing side, on design and build, we can be benefit from it. And I think this is the real, and this is public sector approval with President of U.S. and Senate and Congress, bipartisan approval. You know, nowadays, like we talk about bipartisanship, it's like, oh, is that a foreign language? I said, no, that's a domestic language. They did with EB-5 program,
Yeah.
it's bipartisanship, right?
Yeah.
And so you know the help is on the way for a lot of offshore company and individual that wanted to enter into the U.S. for education, medical, advancing your company and product in the U.S. And that is the real story. And we're building that through modern living mega factory, the one that can deliver the result and in the production. And so when we reporting back to the USCIS, we say, we are the real operation of building here.
Yeah.
We treat business like a business. And, you know, business, it comes with production, housing unit, and job created, right?
I'm curious, so back in the day when, I was trying to come to the US, it was like, it was the US dream. Everybody wanted from India to come to the US. Now we're going to Canada, we're going to Australia, there's so many other things. Are you seeing the same kind of trend, or is it still very much, hey, we want to go, immigrate to the US, and what does that look like?
I think that, I'm spending half of my time in Asia. Like January or December, I'm spending 26 out of 30 days in Asia. And running this program, talking to people, I think the conversation from whether New Delhi, India, Vietnam, or Beijing, Shanghai, or Taiwan, 100% investor want to go to America.
Okay, that's great.
The ship is coming this
So they're
way.
basically paying to be in the front of the line,
Yeah.
right? With their
Well,
FDI,
it's
right?
interesting, they're not paying for it because it's not
They're
like,
investing.
they're investing,
Yes,
and it's
because they
very
need a return
different.
on
They
it,
get their
yeah.
money back.
Mhm.
Small
And they get to be
return,
in front of the
but they
line.
get their money back and go to the front of the line.
Yeah,
It's-
that's when.
One thing I did forget, or we didn't mention about the EB-5 program, is the children, because they have green cards, go to school as a naturalized American, so they don't pay the foreign rates.
Right, yeah.
So just the foreign rates on 3 kids is more than the 800,000 investment.
Yeah. And I think we,
That's what I
yeah.
said, you guys have cracked the code on, like, you figured it out.
And a lot
It has
of,
to be rural.
and a lot of investors in their mind, like, we definitely want to get to the U.S. We wanted to get the visa, We want to get our investment make sense. We want to get our U.S. citizenship, and we want to get our capital back. And what can I invest into an entity
That you can get that and
get
quickly,
that
too.
quickly? And so this model of modern living factory, the answer for that. We build units every day, 4 or 5 a day. Double ship will be, 8 or 10 a day. So we have the real units that you can own. And the demand of housing is great. So you can sell those units, rent it out and it creates income, right? and the factory is built in the real time, with technology. And so people feel like this is a solid, good investment backed by a great technical team, development team, financing team, then legal team, right? It got to work that way in the co-op. Then your investment will be a great investment. By looking at our program today, hearing it from you, expert in building, modern technology factory, what would they learn? What would they walk away of by looking at how you're building it, and look at other how that operation is running, how productive, profitable that system is for housing, and ask yourself a question, like, if you were to get a visa, get the American dream, where would you go? I am an immigrant myself. You are an immigrant yourself. We all immigrant ourselves, whether we come from Europe, Asia. This is our destination. This is our home. And we work together so that we can provide in other lives what we have, which is the U.S. citizenship and housing, right? So that is what we do. But and so that's the reason why it takes some entity leadership to step up and doing it, and marry the modular factory, real estate, and immigration together, and that will be us. We'll be working tirelessly until that get done. That visa get issued to the investor, that factory get built, that housing unit square feet get built, and job get created. And we proudly to report back to the public sector, USCIS, FCC, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, that this program is work, and it's how it works, and it's why it works. And can we connect that to solve housing problem? And then if the answer is, I know the public sector is going to be supporting this program. And I talked to I've met with Housing Hut Secretary, right, in DC. I'm traveling to Vietnam on this weekend with Governor Inslee of State of Washington and Port of Everett Commissioner Glenn Bachman in Vietnam. We know the public sector will support. We at the builder co-op offsite community, we have to run business very efficient, very productive, and very profitable, so that we create more jobs and more housing unit. Then that report, that filing from JTC financing back to the USCIS, that our program, FDI Foreign Direct Investment Fund into the U.S. community that created housing and job, is working. Period. Then the question right now, we have to make decision from public and private sector. Do you support the program or do you not support the program? It's coming down to that.
Right.
If not, then why not? That we gain the bipartisan support, similar to get the approval for August of 2022, when Senate, Congress, and the White House speaking the same language. We need housing. We need more capital. We need more jobs. So let's do that. But talking is cheap.
Yep.
Action building, that's what that's what matters. So how many American dreams that we can create? How many jobs, how many units, how many square feet that we can do? Do we have a system that duplicatable and predictable so that we can scale? Right now we don't. And then all the lender, all the investor ask ourselves a question, where do you want to put money to? When the investment is not make sense, the job is not created, housing not created, it's a failed business. And then investor getting the green card is going to be fail at the result, right? So this is like doing it together in the community, that in the PPP way. I mean, like, 27 years in residential building and title development. I look at real estate industry, it all like dust. Can we bring in some new idea, new strategy, and get the old industry excited again about building and investing, right? It's not so much about building a home. It's not Rich building a home or Tom at Guardian building a home, another building. This is bigger than that, right? And we willing to be the one that cooperate and gathering and working together, including a lot of our friends in Asia, Singapore, with $1 billion in the bank right now, and ask ourselves a question: God, I cannot really send it to China, like I have been doing for the last 50 years. I put so much in Vietnam. Can you put some of those money in United States? Right? And then, we're going to be the one talk to them, and they're going to say, how? What are your operations? How do you build home? How do you factory build? How do you scale production? How do you make sure that the entity that building home, that creating jobs, that getting the visa to that entity, that's not going to fail?
Yeah, because they're risking, but probably their life savings, right? Probably.
Yeah, right. And that's all about, it's more than just business that we involved in. And so we wanted to continue to work with this, continue to work and figure out this system and put that to work. But I am very sure the public sector is supporting big time. Private investor, FDI foreign investor fund is supporting it in the best market of human being, United States. There's no real estate market better than this.
Yeah.
That where you can own home, have a title, and ownership, and entitlement, right? So I know that we can 10x production when it comes to investing into this modern living factory, mega factory, that can create a result. And that's why, that's why, a lot of leaders are already coming in. Modular construction build CEO Tom, and the new leadership coming in, new board coming in, is supporting it. I spoke to David yesterday about the bus tour for the factory upside build, and we got more than 400 people signed up. Want to see the real property actually built. We see the extended stay, 3 of them right around Burbank Airport. So this going to be shown for more people, and that our job is from our company, and we continue to support that. Then, we're filing with the federal government and the business plan. This is what we do. This is what we wanted to do. It's a community development program.
Now, as you present to your builders, if you need any support from us in terms of making your plan visual in any way, we're happy to help you with any of your presentations.
We would take that. We would take that.
I mean, I'm just offering him up.
Yeah, sure thing.
So
As we get more, we don't have the schematics and whatnot of the building yet.
Yeah.
As we work through that process with our engineer, we'll try to get something to you and let you
Yep.
play and do your design magic.
Yeah, that'd be
for us.
great.
But, it's just an interesting road to hoe right
Yeah,
now.
it's very exciting. I wish you all the very best.
Yeah, and so so that we started this, and we wanted to talk to you and you partner with us through this process and offer the support, technical, as we go through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if you were investors in, when you go back to Asia, we do have a intro to house design, how do we start, we have a little video.
Mm-hmm.
I can share that with you if you want to, make that part of your pitch. Happy to share.
Do you have it here?
I was going to actually play it.
Can we,
Well, it's just
yeah.
like 3 minutes, but
Oh,
it's a-
okay.
It's a quick video, but, just from a building credibility, right?
Well, today we met with the leadership of your company and your team.
Yeah, 'cause it's important
We
that
let
do
our
it.
investor know that we are actually doing a very strong due diligence in
Yeah,
terms of
and
who
that's
we
right,
working
yeah.
with.
This is, right, where the one that is?
It's, you just
Okay,
need to drag
there
it
you
over there, yeah.
Was started in July of 2012.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this one.
Closure of Transform Solar.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
Worked, and I ran the automation development group there, and Transform Solar was shut down by Micron, and at that time we had a decision to make, and we decided to go about it on our own and to start a robotic system integration business. The first projects that shaped House of Design, we had a job here with ACECO, and it really is what launched House of Design. It gave us the revenue that we needed to get going. Humanetics allowed us to bring Ryan on full time at that time, and that was like the starting point of House of Design. It really, really enabled us to start down the path. We did Keen shoes, we did little giant ladders. It was a big job and had lots of integration work into it. We went from doing single cell robotic systems to doing larger, complete system integrated cells. When we did that, we had to grow not only in square footage of the business, but also our staff had to increase as well. 2018 was the year for us as our transition into the construction industry. We had 2 companies primarily come to us, and one was Katera, who wanted us to do roof truss systems and open loop floor truss, and then we had Automall that came to us and wanted us to completely automate a modular manufacturing facility. The thing that I saw with automating affordable housing was it was tangible. Our employees could actually relate that what they were doing affected people's lives. We're doing something that actually will help change the world. We completely automated a modular manufacturing production facility. This included wall production line, floor and ceiling production lines. We brought the expertise for the design, the programming, the assembly of the automated equipment that produces the floors, ceilings, and walls. It was hard. It was difficult. In the end, the sense of pride, having our staff be a part of something that truly changed the industry was just such a proud moment for me. It is an indescribable feeling knowing that Automall just produced their 2,000th module. That's over 70 miles worth of wall panels. I'm just so proud of our team and what they've accomplished over there. They've really put in the time and the effort and the energy that it took to be able to accomplish that. Having a collaborative team that works extremely well together is vitally important to the success of that project. We have an amazing team that has years of collective experience and expertise in all kinds of different aspects of the business. Embedded in every one of our employees is passion for robotics. The dedication and the passion that they have for robotic systems and pushing the boundaries of innovation really is a testament to the success of House of Design. All of our organizations collaboratively work together in providing a system that our customers can implement into their processes and be able to be successful. Our product portfolio continues to grow. We continue to learn what the needs are. It's wide and varied. Like there are so many different manufacturers out there that do things just a little bit different than the other people. Taking the knowledge that we have gained by implementing these systems in different geographic regions and different countries and being able to bring it back and make our systems better and stronger for the industry. We've been in so many different facilities that we understand layouts and manufacturing flows and processes that our customers are having to deal with, that it enables us to be very flexible and dynamic and how we produce our systems. And that goes from wall panels to floor ceilings to our roof truss systems, floor truss systems. All of these are different manufacturing environments. The way that we pre-plate members in both the roof and the open lip floor truss system, we are so accurate in placing connector plates on the members that the quality is unmatched, which also contributes to a direct savings cost in the amount of steel that's used in the truss. It doesn't matter how the wood comes to us. You can have infeeds that are manual infeeds, buffered infeeds, directly connected to saws. The outfeed out of that pre-plate system can be, robotically placed members on a table. It can be a buffered conveyor to a table. It can be a jack system. It can be manual. That customizable aspect of our pre-plate system, that's what enables us to get into many different manufacturing facilities, because they're not all the same. The robotic solutions that we provide take away the dangerous and the dirty jobs that employees have to do. Lifting big sheets of 4x8, sheets of plywood, lifting heavy members, having nail guns in people's hands. The robotic systems eliminate those safety concerns. The labor pool that opens up to being able to use automation. You can start looking at older demographics and entice new, younger generation to be able to come in and use the robotic automation. It really opens up our labor pool that the construction space has never been able to utilize in the past. We have the ability to help manufacturers look at processes differently, to help manufacturers who want to build a new facility. House of Design's future is in the construction industry. We're not going to stop at just automating the systems that we've done. We are going to keep driving forward. I love and I have a passion for what we're doing. There's no better feeling than to know that the systems that you work on actually have a purpose that affect people's lives.
Well, we, the Washington State neighbor, and we share the same passion,
Yeah.
right? And we're very proud of the Pacific Northwest neighbor that can step up and do things together in a good way, So I'm more of the technical, how to build a unit. God, 27 years, we know how to do it. We do that in our sleep,
Yeah.
And the reason why we're doing it. And I share the passion with the leadership here, and I think that our generation have the responsibility for housing industry and to do it, and to do it. And so I have the issue, same thing with my son, the same thing. My two sons, 22 years old, UW graduate computer science. I asked him to go into the real estate industry, and he said, Dad, no.
Why?
I know this industry financially, technology, profitability, this industry is have a hard time to attract young people to this industry. For example, let me share with you. I'm on the leadership side for the last 27 years. NAR, National Association of Realtors, is the association representing housing industry. If you look at the study right now, the average age NAR member, with about 2.2 million, or USA say that 1.8 million people in the US, the average age NAR member is 58 years old.
That's average.
And the young people, I mean, talk to Tamara to get into the industry at a young age. Tamara, Tamara like get into the industry at 26, right, Tamara?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Europe, But we have such a hard time to attract young people to our industry. We're not excited. We're not productive. We're not profitable.
It's not sexy.
We don't run business like business,
Right.
like the rest of the corporate America. We all over the map. We have no discipline. We have no objective. Because we are the oldest industry in America. We have no idea how to build a house, how to make a house a smarter house, a better house, a better product.
Yeah,
We're not really-
Construction's the laggard in terms
The
of
laggard.
embracing technology. It's like the last industry.
Right.
Everybody else is way ahead.
And so I look at it and I say, the immigrant, they're not excited about this. The American, they're not excited about it. Look at our industry.
Don't blame them.
Look at the builder, they're not profitable. A lot of factories bankrupt. A lot of on-site bill. It's not going to be able to make the type of money and income that bring home for their family. It's not predictable. It's not duplicatable. It's not profitable. It's not changing. It will stay exactly the same. And we 6 million homes shorted in terms of product. And we have no participation in idea, capital, development, and build. And we come together to help and solve. And we don't take responsibility for our own industry. And we shorted 6 million homes, only 6 million homes. On human being, mankind, that's pretty significant. And so I know why we're not, I share the passion with the leadership here. Yeah. Can we attract the young people, modern generation to go into our industry? Where are they?
Well, I think robotics is one way to attract them back, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because now you're hiring a different profile than you traditionally would.
Right. And I have this conversation with ICSC. I'm a trustee there for 18 years. I have this conversation because I own Prudential and Windermere right here in Pacific Northwest. And I talk to our leadership and I say, what can we do with our industry? How can we be diverse? Can we be innovative? Can we be profitable? That for all the members in our industry.
Yeah. We were talking to a potential customer a few months ago, and they were experiencing a lot of labor shortages. And
Right.
the way they're looking at this is with robotics, we can start offering mini shifts, like 4-hour shifts. So stay-at-home moms can drop the kid off at school, come work for 4 hours, and then leave and go back
Right.
and then another shift. So now you have a whole different labor pool to hire from.
Yeah.
Just creative ways of
Yeah.
making it work.
I know the short time that we have here to meet with you and the and the long, hard, challenging that we face in the industry, and we look at it from USAsia, from the perspective of the world. 70% of the total population of the world is in Asia. Make no mistake about that. India 1.5, China is 1.5. 70% of the world population in Asia, and 98% of those 70% of world population want to move to the U.S., join the 4% population here. The only thing that's stopping it is the immigration policy. It's so hard, so tough. And the people inside that 4% and the building industry do not work, understand, and support that policy. So we keep the 70% population from joining the 4% population in the country that founded on the founding father of the country is the immigration, United States. So how can we do and have a policy that backfire at our founding father when it comes to building America? Building the fundamental, the cornerstone of America, building is immigration, immigrant. That's how we all come together to build this country. And we do not have a policy that's supporting that in today's modern time of 2024. You know, so people, you know, people like you, people like me, you know, in this industry, I say that no, it's not about how much money you make, how many deal, how many square feet that you build and you rent. It's all about coming together, working on the common challenge that we're facing right now, and getting the public sector understand that we need to come together and solve the problem. You know, so that people can create the policy, right? So in the short amount of time here, I really share the challenge, and at the same time, I feel generation have the responsibility to step up. You know, like President Kennedy always say, you know, it's not what you do for America, what you can do for America, what America can do for you. You know, and we all have to step up and do that in this old industry. So look at it, young generation do not excited to join this industry. Labor shortage, material shortage, housing shortage, capital shortage. And we have no policy from the public sector to support it. You know, and that's what we in. But I think that, you know, challenging, providing opportunity for entity, for company that really step up, do that answer the moment of challenge.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that this is, so can we scale, can we support the modern factory technology nationwide with all this existing structure mall across the country that obsolete right now? Macy's is not expanding, Nordstrom, JCPenney, Mervyn, everybody moving every downside significantly. The owner of shopping center across the country, I was in Minnesota, Denver, Florida, we all have extra space. We all have loan that we have to refinance in 3 to 5, 7 years, you know, in a commercial lending. And our commercial lending right now is not lending. So and then office building, that's another challenging. You know, when the leader CEO here is saying about we got in this like 2018, well, 2020, then we got COVID. Mm-hmm. That add more into another challenge layer that we have, you know. And so our industry just have challenge after challenge after challenge with supply, labor, supply, and funding. And it's just like, you know, I mean, I just look at this from nationwide, so that's why I'm asking the leadership from Upside Bill, Tom, Executive Director for Modular Bill, to step up, to go from 6% total construction upside to 10% in 3 years. And he been looking at me, he challenging me. And I said, yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. Who say that before? Yes, we can. You know, it's politics season, right?
Yeah. Like
Barack Obama, famous for that one, right? But I just say that, yes, we can. We can go from 6% to 10%. And this is how we do it, right? And that's why the meeting, the 3 big meeting at ICSC, for all the 94% builder, the owner, developer, they're going to be open up their eye and look at Upside Bill in their own factory.
it's in there.
June
It's
5th.
a matter of when.
Right.
It's not a matter of if.
Yeah,
It's when.
right.
And the longer you wait, you're going to be behind everyone else.
Mhm.
I agree.
So it's time for us to really step up and do it together. Your entity and our entity. We can lead the field. We can lead the industry. And that's what I'm here just like wanted to talk about this, how we do it together, right? The time is challenging our generation right now to step up and do it, right? And so that's the whole point of our meeting with you today, is that we join together. We tell our investors, put up the fund, investing in America. There's no better time to invest in America than now, you know. And what are you waiting for? You know, this is the best, and this is the best model. You know, it's backed by the best people in the industry, and the uprising solution for housing problem, you know. And if you don't, who would? You know, so this is the effort to call in all the investors from offsite industry, U.S. and Asia, to participate. You know, and so that's why ICSC at the Recon Las Vegas, right? We took the entire convention in Las Vegas 3 miles into the event. We have Asia, Europe, South America, and U.S. domestic owner, developer, investor come together for 3 days. We opened a 3-day seminar to introducing offsite construction to others to understanding it. Because my friend that holding funding like Blackstone, Chase, Bank of America, they got $1 billion in their pocket.
They're not opening.
But how much money in their pocket you can take to put into offsite build construction? Do you know? None.
Well, because they want 45% equity.
Right.
Nobody has that.
Like how can you
Yeah.
have so much money and you loan like none to us? How that work? Because you don't understand. They think, okay, modular build is just like manufactured housing. Oh, that's different. Everybody we talk to, is that a manufactured home? Or that low quality? And nobody wanted to own that, right? So I do, so we wanted to, I just feel that this is great opportunity. We can come
No,
together,
we
work
appreciate you
together.
coming here, and I'm glad we were able to make it work with like 3 days' notice with.
Sorry about that.
No worries. And like I said,
Because
we'll
I
move things
travel.
around and- Huh?
I'll be in China on the Canton
No,
Fair.
and I know, that's what.
Because
we're
I'm
doing,
going to
let's
like the
accommodate
Sunday. Because we drove here from Seattle. You know, we wanted to see this offsite system, and we wanted to bring it to our investor in Asia. They have no idea how the offsite system works. You know,
Yeah.
and we educated them. We created the whole industry of education about offsite build, so people can know about that. Because I already commit with World Modular, with Tommy, with Rich. We're going to be speaking on June 5th in Burbank. You know, conference for modular build, and we have a lot of investors come, and we do a bus tour.
Yeah.
And so the schedule for like April, May, and June is loaded, right? And so we wanted to get the word out there in terms of launching this fund, and we're pulling the public sector in. I don't have an opportunity to go and bring Governor of State of Washington to go to Vietnam and talk to our investor. It's a message to send to the private capital market that we public sector are willing to cooperate and paving the way for more dollars to get into our community project. You know? And then, but because I know that when we do that, it is duplicatable and predictable, so that I can advise other municipalities, other builder co-op in different market can participate, right? And that's why we already supporting modular project in New Jersey, of building factory there.
Okay.
We have factory we supporting in North Dakota, right? And we have our Eagle Energy funding. We happen to own 800,000 acre land in Texas and North and South Dakota, Denver and Oklahoma. They in the process of building, drilling energy, $100 million a month. And I sat down with the CEO owner for 3 days in Dallas office, and we bring in workforce housing for the energy industry, and we bring that into the existing land that already controlled by the ownership, and to build workforce housing. But we can only think of it just modular factory build, right? So that's going to initiate about another factory build that we build. And so the work, I'm sorry, but we got 3 days. That's very urgent. I really appreciate you
No, I'm glad
to
we
put
were able
this
to make it
meeting so that we can meet in person to show how serious we are about doing it.